Listen, I'm gonna level with you. I talk about financial sense quite a bit. And there's a reason for that. Because one, I know the team really well, and they are awesome. Two, they ship products very consistently. So they get feedback from their users and they build the feedback into the product on a regular basis. And so I want to be a firm that is progressive, that is moving forward, that is as capturing the data that we need to be successful. Now, in the past, we may have been managing our firm based off of gut feel, a lot of spreadsheets, and we still have some degree of that, just natural in any growing firm. But if you're relying on spreadsheets and your gut to make decisions, you're probably leaving money and your sanity on the table. So in this video, we're gonna walk through how you can use the reporting features in Financial Sense to give you a little bit more real-time clarity into your team performance, your client workload, productivity, without another spreadsheet getting in the way. So if I haven't met you yet, and I've met a lot of you, my name is Villard. I run a firm called Full Send out of Boulder, Colorado, outsourced accounting, outsourced operations, and we help our clients scale smarter with better systems and better data. And internally, we use Financial Sense to keep our operations tight. So I'm going to show you why some of their new reporting features is a no-brainer. It's no secret that the workflow management, the practice management space, reporting features are just kind of lacking. It's challenging to understand how you take the data that's going to the system and then extract it for value, to extract it for capacity management, to extract it for profitability by client. Reporting matters. And so when we think about the content that's coming out of these workflow management systems, we need it to help us fly with navigation. We can't be flying blind because the fact of the matter is that just work done doesn't necessarily equal more profit or more revenue. It just means you're getting it done. So when we think about valuable data to help you manage your business, time tracking is a huge part of it, if you actually use it. What can we see relative to time tracking in their new reporting features in Financial Sense? Let's dive into the tool and take a look at a few things. So one, we can look at team utilization. We can look at utilization, realization, profitability by person, by role, by client, by team. It's a really good way to take data and distill it down into a data set that actually makes sense, that you can use to plan for the future. When you have your workload planned out, you have team tracking time against that, you can say, hey, what does my capacity look like next week, next month, next quarter? Now, you want to be able to mash this up against your forecasted data. And so if you can layer in clients with a forecasted time commitment, you can then start to mash that up against your existing capacity to help you understand whether or not you need to hire. So we also want to be looking at other data points in this new reporting feature, like profitability. What was our actual versus billable time? How can we understand where we need to may actually tinker with our pricing strategy or tinker with our operations to understand, are we delivering this service effectively? Another report here that I think is really helpful, particularly when you're using billing within Financial Sense, is to be able to look upon what you've billed to your clients in various client groups, look at your accounts receivable if you're not collecting ACH debit upon issuance of invoice, and understand, what does our billing cadence look like? Now, if you're billing through Financial Sense, as well as tracking time, as well as getting your work done, you now have the ability to mash all of that data up together in all of this reporting. So you can understand, what are your revenue insights? What does the movement of your cash look like? What does the revenue coming in relative to available time look like? All of these things help you to manage a better firm. So I'm gonna actually hop into the system here and show you a few ways in which you can look at this data and slice and dice it in ways that are helpful to you. All right, see, we're in Financial Sense now. And what I'm looking at is your generic time tracking reports. And I'm looking at it on a project by project basis. So within your client list, you've got a variety of projects. You can track time against those projects. From there, you can take a look at your budgeted hours and your actual hours to understand, were you over or under budgeted for any given project for a client. You can also distill this down by team. This is segmented by employee, but you could have groups of employees that roll up to a team and look at team performance. So if you have a pod structure, really, really helpful. Kind of table stakes in a practice management system is time tracking reports. So let's look at capacity management. What does this look like? So this is a view on a weekly basis right now. to say, hey, how much time is assigned to the team today, this week, next week, and this month overall to see what the team capacity looks like. You can also set capacity targets for each employee to understand what should our given utilization look like for the team. Now you can segment the time date, and ultimately you can understand, do we have an over projection of availability relative to clients coming in? Or do we have too many clients that may overburden our team and we may need to start hiring? So this gives you a really good look into understanding what's coming up. You can also do this looking to the future too. Hey, let's look at July and see what our estimated hours looks like. It's a really good way to track time relative to your capacity in your firm, reassign work for any overburdened staff. Now, another thing I want to hit on here is realization and profitability. So if you are billing in Financial Sense, you've got data that shows you from your time data, what was your hourly billables, your fixed billables, and then your total. And you can look at that against your actuals, your write-up, write-downs, and then your labor costs. So all of these things come together in this realization and profitability report. And again, you can look at this on a client basis, a team basis, or a project basis. So what this allows you to do is get really granular on what level of service you're providing and what the relative margin is. You can even go all the way down to the service line item level if you want to see what your margin is for, let's say, 1040s or for accounts receivable work. This is a really great way to understand if you are over or under pricing the various services that you offer. Now, you must understand that any data that's captured here must be tracked at a granular level, like at the service line item level, in order to yield this data. You can't just do it at the client level. So make sure that you have the right policies in place, the right communication with your team to understand how granularly you want them to track time. Now, the last thing I'll hit on here is accounts receivable. So you can see across your entire client base reporting on your AR. You can also look at this on a specific client basis, client groups, or any slice and dice of data that you want to look at. You can look at their historicals. It's a really great way to understand how are your clients trending over time. All right, so what does this replace? What this means to you as a Financial Sense user is that you're not going to be exporting timesheets anymore. You're not going to be guessing your margins or have to create these outside of your existing toolset calculations that may yield end of month surprises. We're trying to replace this kind of Frankenstein type dashboard approach or exporting data and filtering and reformatting and slicing and dicing data that requires regular updates and maintenance to a more data-driven real-time approach where you can make decisions, set up triggers, understand how to actually serve the growth of your firm over time. So at the end of the day, we can't fix what we can't see. We can't fix capacity if we don't have the data to support that. The reporting feature in Financial Sense helps you turn your team's time data, your capacity data, your revenue data into operational gold. So whether you want to grow your margins, rebalance your team, or just get a pulse on what's working, this is a great place to start, a great place to look to understand how do we actually use data to run a more effective firm. So if you're not already on Financial Sense, take a look at it. I can guarantee you that it will help you move from a point of operational friction and frustration into a realm where you got a little bit more freedom and data and optionality and visibility into growing your firm. If you're already on Financial Sense, open up the reporting tab. Start with team utilization. You'll see what I'm talking about. Hit me up if you got any questions. Have fun. Enjoy the new reporting features. Talk soon.